A string of violent crimes committed by young people has some wondering how juveniles can be prosecuted and what consequences parents could face if their children wind up in court.
Our Madison Edwards spoke with the Caddo DA to find out how juvenile offenders in different age groups could be prosecuted. So Madison, what'd you find out?
Well, Jeff, Brenda, in Caddo Parish, 22 juvenile offenders were transferred to adult court last year, according to District Attorney James Stewart. This year, 7 have been transferred. The DA's office must consider their age when deciding to transfer a juvenile, and teens as young as 14 who commit violent crimes could be transferred to adult court. Charging a juvenile of 14 to 17 years old with a violent crime in Caddo Parish is up to District Attorney James Stewart's office, but whether they should be transferred to adult court depends on the crime.
For 14 to 17, we could transfer them, but it's only certain, it's not every crime, it's only certain crimes, and particularly the more violent crimes that we can even consider transfer.
The DA takes into account the appropriateness of the charges, type of evidence, delinquency record, and if the case is prosecutable before sending a juvenile to adult court.
When you get below 14, then we cannot bring them over. 13-year-olds and below, they have to stay in the juvenile system.
A child under the age of 10 who commits a crime can only be prosecuted as a family in need of services case. Parents could also be charged when their child commits a crime.
If we think the parent has some involvement, then we're going to ask the law enforcement agencies to really investigate that to make sure we're not having parents harboring or creating criminals on their own. We are always going to hold parents accountable for their actions, but if you're a parent, you understand sometimes parents are not responsible for what their children do.
Stewart recommends parents keep their children in school, monitor their children's social media activity, and who they associate with. Stewart says compared to last year, truancy cases, violent crime convictions, and guns and weapons cases at juvenile court are trending down. The DA's office is working closely with nonprofits and the school system to prevent juveniles from becoming violent offenders. Brenda, back to you.
Madison, is there any indication as to why it's trending downward?
I believe Stewart was telling me that the community outreach programs, places like the Harbor, Volunteers for Youth Justice, and other programs have really been helping nip that violent crime in the bud before it happens.
All right, thank you, Madison.